Good afternoon and welcome to KTN News Desk. My name is Edith Kimani. I trust you've been well in the hands of Bonnie Tunya.
Of course they have. My name is Bonnie Tunya. This is Friday. KTN News Desk starts now. We have a lot in store for you and all that coming up in a moment. Welcome to the program. We begin this bulletin with news that MCAs from across the country are retreating in the coastal city of Mombasa to take stock of what has happened or what their role has been in the devolved government system 1 year on. And our senior reporter Ferdinand Omondi is taking that story up, and we do understand that if the president is opening up that particular retreat. Ferdinand, what exactly is the purpose of this meeting?
Good afternoon, Bonnie. The purpose of the President's visit is to address the more than 2,000 MCAs from across the 47 counties of Kenya who, as you mentioned correctly, have converged here at the Flamingo Beach Resort at the North Coast to have an insight into the performance of the devolved government, indeed, which is the theme of the conference 1 year down the line. What have been the challenges and what have been the achievements? This was the first time that Kenya was experiencing this kind of devolved government implementation after the implementation of the new constitution, and now they are here to exactly take stock and compare notes. President Uhuru Kenyatta is the one who is going to give the official opening speech. The function has started about 3 hours late, but from the kind of activity going on behind me, I've seen Cabinet Secretary for Devolution Anne Waiguru has already checked in. She's also going to give a speech as well as her Treasury counterpart Henry Rotich, was supposed to be here. Chief Justice William Mutunga already has arrived, so we're expecting the President to come in anytime now. Earlier in the morning, I spoke to one of the MCAs, the Honorable Jabez Mudai, who is a ward rep here in the county of Mombasa, and he actually explained that among the things that we'll be discussing here is exactly part to do with the remuneration of the members of the county assembly, the amount of funding. They're not satisfied with the 15% with the official amount that they're supposed to be receiving here, and also the kind of back and forth that has been going on between them, especially and governors, also members of the parliament. So there's going to be quite a bit of sticking points, and I believe that challenges will be much more than the achievements that will be discussed here as they try and look for the way forward to make sure that the county government in its current form actually succeeds in light of recent suggestions from certain quarters in government and in parliament. Perhaps devolution is not working, but one thing they're saying here for certain is that devolution is here to stay. So the point is, how will they make sure that it stays and benefits the ordinary Mwananchi? Bonnie.
Right, Fadi, you've mentioned the challenges will outnumber the solutions or the successes. Part of the key things that we expect to be brought in those discussions is the apparent cold war between governors and the MCAs. We saw what happened in Embu, where they sent their governor home. Will that feature? Is it part of the agenda?
I expect it to feature fully because they have been discussed in the Senate, they have been discussed in Parliament. Some governors have accused the members of the county assembly of being rogue and behaving like militants, saying that they either have it their way or they impeach these people. Governor Martin Wambora had already been impeached. There was a speaker who was impeached. Ironically, this function is organized by the Speakers Forum, so the speakers will be here from the chairman, Dr. Du, the Secretary General Albert Koche is also going to give his speech. We expect this kind of controversy to be addressed fully, to say exactly what is the bone of contention. Why are the governors not exactly in tandem with their members of the county assembly? There should be some very steamy conversations in there, in as much as I have not seen any governor invited so far, according to the program that I saw, but I'm certain that this will be a point we discussed, and they might have they will come with resolutions, I expect, at the end of the discussions tomorrow, and exactly how they can move forward to recreate the harmony that was there before so that the county system can move forward. Bonnie.
Right, many thanks, Fadi, for that update. We'll be keeping in touch with you a little later when the meeting will finally take off. We do understand it's running 3 hours late. We're expecting the president to officially open that particular discussion. Also, we have Chief Justice amongst other dignitaries who are gracing that particular conversation later on this afternoon. But as and when it kicks off, we'll be able to bring that to you. Many thanks, Fadi. Right, away from that, we do understand also that governors are set to have a similar meeting of their own later on this month to take stock of what their successes have been 1 year on. Elsewhere, a section of lawmakers led by nominated member Isaac Mwaura have criticized members of the National Assembly for being insensitive to the rights of persons with disabilities when they passed an amendment stopping people suffering from mental conditions from consenting to marriage. Mwaura's attempt to have the section amended to have a medical board or at least a National Council of Persons with Disabilities to determine whether a person suffering from a mental condition had capacity to give consent to a marriage was defeated on the floor of the House yesterday.
For a very, very long time, persons with mental disabilities, persons with learning disabilities, users and survivors of psychiatry, people who are bipolar conditions have always been misunderstood by the society. And at the 21st century, we cannot keep on calling people insane. We cannot keep on telling people we are curtailing their freedom of choice. It does not mean that if you have a mental condition, you do not have capacity to love. You do not have capacity to choose a spouse. And so this traditional archaic belief that there are other people who can determine who you can marry or whether you are capable of getting into a marriage contract is totally unacceptable.
Even as my colleague, Honorable Mwaura, was trying to explain, members could not listen, and so they had a fixed mind that mental illness, mental disability is like that person in Mathare. And even clearly we could see recognized lawyers in this country stand and say marriage is a contract of two people who have mental capability. This was very unfortunate.
What I get from my fellow legislators is that when it comes to disability, when it comes to women, it's not an issue to them. The issue of disability is for all Kenyans. But as things are moving, it's like it's left for specific people with the disabilities who are representing people with the disabilities, who are in small numbers. On our own, we cannot make it unless we get the support of our fellow legislators.
Elsewhere, the Parliamentary Committee on Administration and National Security is in Kericho, in the Kericho-Nyakach border to establish the cause of the recent border flare-ups in the region. The Asman Kamama-led committee has convened a meeting with local leaders and residents to find a lasting solution to the border conflicts. The border skirmishes that started last Friday have so far claimed 6 lives and displaced more than 900 people. More than 50 houses have also been torched. Displaced people are now being sheltered in churches and 10 schools that have since closed, even as calm slowly returns in the region. There is uneasy calm along the Nyakach-Kericho border following the deployment of officers from the Anti-Stock Theft Police Unit to the area. World Vision and Kenya Red Cross charities have distributed blankets, foodstuffs and drugs to a section of victims of the chaos taking refuge in churches and, of course, in the 2 regions. Deputy President William Ruto begins a 3-day tour of the South Rift Western regions today. And Ruto begins his tour in Marakwet, in Elgeyo-Marakwet County, before proceeding to Kipkelion in Kericho County and then winding up his meeting with the People Tour on Sunday in Ikolomani, and that's in Kakamega County. The Deputy President is expected to address public rallies with his confidence, saying he will address agriculture and education issues. Ruto has used such forums before to defend the state's decisions and policies and assuring the public of the Jubilee administration's commitment to developing the country. The DP has defended the government's move to cut salaries as prudent austerity measures to put in check the skyrocketing public wage bill and further ruling out a constitutional amendment to scrap the positions of nominated legislators as pushed by a section of parliamentarians.
A young man was crushed to death after he was ran over by a train at Railways Estate in Nakuru County. According to eyewitnesses, the man was seen attempting to cross the railway as an oncoming train was approaching, but he never made it to the opposite side. According to security personnel at the railway station, the train operator managed to stop the train meters away from the scene of the accident after he noticed unusual movements of the train wheels. The badly mutilated body of the victim was taken to the Nakuru Municipal Mortuary awaiting identification. Witnesses also say the deceased had earlier been roughed up by residents after he was spotted wandering aimlessly in a private compound.
Dereva ya gari ya moshi alisema kwamba hii kitu huyu jamaa alijaribu kucross. Sasa vile alicross hivi walidhani kwamba pengine ameenda kando. Kidogo vile walipita na gari wakaona yule mtu ambapo walikuwa amejaribu kuhepa hawa kwamba hayuko huko kando tena, kumbe alirudi ndani. So gari ikamfuruta ndani, driver akasikia kama kokoto inalia chini.
Na wakampea adhabu juu kuna vitu zilikuwa zimeibiwa kwa ploti. Sasa ikasemekana asiuliwe. Sasa ndio jamaa akatoka. Kutoka ndio akakuja hivi mbio. Dakika kidogo tukasikia jamaa amegongwa na gari ya moshi hapa hivi.
A mother in Isiolo has shocked residents after she beat her 4-year-old child with a blunt object, inflicting serious injuries on him after the boy ate a loaf of bread. Now the mother, Faith Aduma, is said to have come home drunk with a loaf of bread after abandoning her children for days without any food. After waking up, she found the bread missing and immediately descended on the young boy, beating him mercilessly. Angry neighbors who say that it was not the first time that Aduma had bitten her children that way, frog-marched her to Isiolo Central Chief's office and later to the police station. Aduma said she acted out of stress and did not mean to injure her child.
Amemwamsha sana, amka utupe mkate, amka utupe mkate. Mama hakusikia, njoo yeye ni mlevi. Si ndio watoto wakaamua kukula mkate. Akasema nani aliwapea mkate na mimi ndio nilikuwa napaswa kuwapea mkate. Si ndio akamfungia kwa nyumba. Na si mara ya kwanza, angalia hiyo kichwa venye imepasuliwa ni kutupa kifunguo.
Mama niwacha apelekwe kwa sheria na huyu mtoto tumpeleke naye aweze kutibiwa. Manake hiyo jeraha inaonekana ni jeraha mbaya, si mzuri.
What an absolutely devastating situation. Did you see the blood on that boy's shirt?
Unexplainable. That's...
And unfortunately, we move on to a story that is quite similar, but this time in Loitoktok, where a 35-year-old man was arrested by police in Loitoktok for assaulting his 2 sons aged 9 and 7 years by beating them up using a club and a whip.
One of the boys was admitted at the Loitoktok District Hospital, where he was nursing serious wounds as a result of the beating. While visiting the boy at the hospital, area women activists cited that child abuse was on the rise and appealed for stiffer penalties for those found abusing children.
Musa Saruni, the father of the children and a divorcee, was arrested by area police and is expected to be arraigned in court facing assault charges.
It was, however, not clear as to why he opted to punish his 2 sons. Stuff. Let's talk about alcohol now. 4 trucks containing 640 drums of ethanol was intercepted in industrial area by the Kenya Revenue Authority Customs Investigations Department.
Now, the KRA officials received a tip-off from a member of the public stating that the trucks had been suspiciously parked in the area.
Upon arrival, they opened the trucks only to find the drums each containing 250 liters of ethanol. However, investigations are still underway as the suspects behind the incident were not found in the area at the time of the raid.
Joseph Tanui, the manager of the Customs Investigations Department at KRA, believes the ethanol had been smuggled from a neighboring country.
We have the keys.
There have been a lot of instances of smuggling in our country, and we are enhancing patrol operations, especially during the weekends, so that we are able to net this kind of vice which is happening in our country.
Right, the Kerio Valley Development Authority, if you like, the KVDA, and Brand Kenya board have today initiated a partnership to help 8 counties in the North Rift region acquire a common regional brand in a move to boost economic development. The partnership is aimed at seeing counties in the region identify and market their unique potentials in tourism, trade and agriculture, thus attract investors to help empower the locals and the county economically.
We are working with the governors and the counties on a branding program for the counties. What we've realized in doing our work is that, Kenya is made of the counties. Without the counties, there's no Kenya. And our counties have so many resources that need to be packaged so that they can be used to market the counties.
There's a lot that this region can offer if counties can come together and plan together and work together to achieve economies of scale.
Right, we're just about to take a short commercial break to pay the bills, but coming up on the other side of this bulletin, I'll tell you why you might not be able to file your taxes electronically yet. 2 months is what KRA is saying you have to wait before you can do that.
All this and more coming your way at the other side of this, on the other side of this break.
On the other side.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Let's talk business now. The Kenya Revenue's move to automate tax return filing has been a move hailed by all. However, the Taxman's iTax platform has had teething problems that has pushed the rollout date to 1st of June. Tax experts, however, welcome the move, saying it will aid KRA in tax administration that ultimately leads to sufficient or rather efficient collection of revenues. Kenya relies heavily on collected revenues to finance its development, with this year's target being set at 1 trillion shillings. Through the platform, KRA will be able to move better, or rather have better knowledge of taxpayers, making it easier for them to intervene and follow up on non-complying parties. This is bound to lead to more interaction with KRA. Fact, tax experts say Kenyans should not fear. The web-enabled system seeks to simplify tax compliance as well as make it secure in an effort to reduce interaction between staff and taxpayers.
As I said, KRA have no intention of hurting the taxpayer. Their major intention is to educate the taxpayer and to get any additional tax you might not have paid, but actual tax, not assumed tax.
The whole purpose of iTax is to bring everybody on board. So if I have a PIN number and I've been running a business and I've not been paying taxes, the new system will now net everybody. It's a level playing field for everybody. Right now it's only a certain sector of people who have always paying the tax. Some have totally avoided it.
Kenya's allure as a haven for private equities is threatened. This is according to a 2014 confidence survey released by audit firm Deloitte, and is occasioned by a poor record of governance and transparency. Here's Adelaide Changole with the rest of that report.
Eastern Africa's private equity market maintained its growth in 2013 as investors sought to cash in on the high returns and large number of opportunities offered by the region. According to Deloitte's Private Equity Confidence Survey for 2014, the number of deals recorded in Africa rose from 58 in 2012 to 84 last year. With 26 deals, Eastern Africa had the highest number of deals in the sub-Saharan region, beating heavyweights like Western Africa that had 24 deals and Southern Africa with 19. Kenya had 12 deals valued at $112 million over the year, accounting for 46% of the total number of deals in East Africa and 69% of the reported values in the region.
There's really a lot of optimism on East Africa. There's deal activity.
Typically, private equity firms exit businesses after a number of years. This, the confidence survey indicates, will see some ventures using IPOs as their exit strategy.
The exchanges and the public securities are actually maturing as well.
Ironically, while Kenya is known for its flourishing technological sector, private equity funds are giving the industry a wide berth. Instead, the firms are eyeing consumer-driven sectors such as agribusiness, financial services and healthcare. Investors anticipate that these areas will experience increased demand as the middle class continues to expand.
But as soon as people have a bit of extra money to spend, they will spend it on things like education and healthcare, and not rely on state services.
The market is growing, the middle class is growing, and first thing that people will spend their money on when they make a bit more money is on good, decent healthcare.
Kenya's shine is also threatened by the vagueness in the regulatory and operating environment.
Governance, transparency, corruption infrastructure, all these things have to be in place if we're going to continue to attract these people to invest here.
A look at the sports now, and let's begin with volleyball in Africa, where the Kenya Prisons men's volleyball team registered their first victory in the ongoing Africa Club Championships in Tunisia last evening. Prisons' victory followed the General Services Unit's loss to Ali Benghazi of Libya. Kenya Prisons, one-time Kenyan champions, won the match 25-18, 25-20 and 27-25. They play Ali Tripoli later this afternoon. GSU, who lost by 3 straight sets yesterday, are due to play Nemo Stars of Uganda at 2 p.m. Kenyan time. 21 teams in total are taking part in the championships in Tunisia.